Guardians, don't forget this might be dangerous, so let's put on our mean faces.
What happened?
Wipers! Wipers! Get it off!
How's this dude still alive? He is not a dude. You're a dude. This is a man. A handsome, muscular man. It's like a pirate had a baby with an angel.
You have good toddy metal fibers.
Stop massaging his muscles. Wake him up.
Who are you guys?
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a Thor video since Infinity War came out, and there are two things going on with Thor in this movie. One, he proves that he works perfectly with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so really hoping they cross those franchises over in the future, if the future of Marvel is those types of crossover movies, like Hulk in a Thor movie. Even though technically it's supposed to be a Thor movie, he's the only one that has his name in the title. Like you put Thor in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, it would be perfect. He worked amazing with his rabbit, he was their beautiful pirate angel, Drax totally got along with them. If they're going to cycle the Guardians roster, it makes sense that they would try to add Thor into the mix at some point. But if you're finding me for the first time, be sure to subscribe to get all the Marvel videos. This is just the beginning of when we start talking about Phase 4. We're still kind of in Infinity War right now. Most of you have probably seen it by now. There is a new round of that Infinity Gauntlet giveaway going on too. But I think the biggest questions that most people had is how does Stormbreaker work and what have they changed from the comics? Because even if you're a minor comic book reader, you probably know that Stormbreaker is Beta Ray Bill's hammer in the comics. It's just meant to be a normal hammer that Odin makes for him after he's able to defeat Thor in combat. So he decides, wow, Beta Ray Bill, you beat someone who is normally worthy, that means you're worthy too, you deserve your own hammer. So for the most part, Beta Ray Bill's Stormbreaker has the same properties as Thor's hammer, like he can still call lightning. Lately they've been doing a lot of weird stuff with the Thor comics. We learned that Mjolnir is actually alive. It has this sentient cosmic storm that Odin bound to it. But now in the movies, through Thor's storyline, we learn the origin of his hammer and how it got its special properties and how Odin enchants it. With I know a lot of new questions now about who's worthy. Is Groot worthy if he can pick up Stormbreaker and create the handle? Like he actually holds it up for a little while before he chops his arm off to form the handle. So we're all the way back at Age of Ultron. Is the elevator worthy if the elevator can rise while the hammer's on top of it?
But if you put the hammer in an elevator, it would still go up. Elevator's not worthy.
I'm gonna miss these little talks of ours.
So just to be clear, this is the movies doing their version of Stormbreaker. It's more like Ultimate Thor's hammer though, which is basically just an axe version of Mjolnir. It's called Ultimate Mjolnir in the comics. So what they've done is they've combined that with Stormbreaker from the comics to create Thor's Stormbreaker in the MCU. So yes, it has all the same properties as Mjolnir had. Now the enchantment is a little bit different. Odin is the one that used his own magic to say only the worthy can lift Mjolnir. The difference with Stormbreaker, as Thor explains to the Guardians, because once Rocket hears about the crazy weapons that Thor plans on building, he's all about it. He's like, I want to get me one of those. And the explainer reads a lot like the rules for who is powerful enough to wield Infinity Stones without being turned to ash. So remember during the original Guardians of the Galaxy, you have one of the Collector's servants grab her bare hand around the Power Stone. It's so powerful that in wielding it, it pops her like a balloon. Star-Lord is half celestial, which is why he's able to hold it for a little while. So even though he's not immortal anymore, he could probably still hold on to one of the Infinity Stones the way he did during the first Guardians film. It's just that he doesn't have his crazy cosmic abilities. Thor tells them that the hammer is so powerful that if you weren't a god like he is or didn't have his power level and you tried to wield it, it would slowly drive you insane while your brain melted inside your head. So that's sort of the defense mechanism. It's probably physically very heavy naturally, so one, you'd have to be kind of strong to lift it anyway, but in order to be able to wield its power, you would have to have some sort of cosmic level ability, which is where Thor is. So like if Captain Marvel came along, maybe she could pick it up, maybe she could wield it because she's going to be wielding cosmic power. The reason why Groot is probably able to pick it up is one, because they do want to imply that he's kind of worthy, but I think the idea is the hammer hasn't been fully activated until Thor wields his power through it. Remember, when there's lightning, that's Thor giving the lightning off, not the hammer itself. The hammer is only something to channel his power. So it's like Mjolnir with the knob turned to 11, but also has so much power that it can open wormholes wielding the power of the Bifrost. That's sort of like the X Factor. So the weapon itself is stronger than Mjolnir, but it also has that extra level of ability, which is how Thor will now travel across the universe. Meaning that it'll be a lot easier for them during Avengers 4 to go back to the Dwarven Forge and get more weapons if they need to, or if they need to reforge another Infinity Gauntlet, because they still have the mold there. So if Shuri decides that she needs some extra hardcore weapons that they can't make in Wakanda, the Dwarven Space Forge is the next best option. But you have to remember that vibranium is supposed to be the strongest metal on Earth. There's a big long-standing argument in the comics about whether or not Dwarven forged Uru metal is also as strong as vibranium. They're relatively similar. So because they're so near the vibranium mound, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the upgrades they get at the beginning of Avengers 4 are vibranium-based. But because Thor reignited the Space Forge, once they fix that little piece, they can just go back there and make as many weapons as they need to. And I almost forgot, there's a big question about Thor's power if his people died. The directors explained that about half of the Asgardians made it off the ship with Korg in Valkyrie. So if Asgard isn't a place, it's a people, and Thor's power comes from his people, and there are still some Asgardians around, then technically it explains how he still has his normal abilities. So hopefully that explains what's going on with his character, but now going into Phase 4, he's probably one of the most powerful characters that they have, and it seems like Chris Hemsworth is totally down to do this fun version of Thor that you see with the Guardians. So previously I was saying that Spider-Man and Black Panther were Marvel's two big A-list characters, big franchises going into Phase 4, but now just include Thor into that mix. They could still do Thor 4 and it would do really well, but I'm just hoping they choose to cross him over with the Guardians franchise again at some point. But what'll happen is I'll be posting my Westworld Episode 3 video next. I'll name a new Infinity Gauntlet giveaway winner when I post new Marvel. That'll probably be on Monday. There's still plenty of stuff we need to talk about, but leave your requests in the comments below. While you wait for everything, click here for Black Panther bloopers and deleted scenes, and click here for more new Infinity War. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.